This is the Fan Out brand package. It is an After Effects template and it is free for all production grade users. It does require Adobe After Effects Creative Cloud. This was made in the 2017 version. Inside of this project file you have 7 different branding elements. You can choose either 1080 or 4K resolution. For this breakdown I'm going to be using the 1080 folder. The first thing you want to do when editing this template is open up the Edit These First folder. I'll go ahead and toggle that down. Inside of this folder we have 3 different colors that are being used throughout our project, as well as 2 compositions in which we need to drop our logos. I'm going to start by opening up the color A composition. I'm actually going to leave it as this white for now. It probably would work best if you left it white as well, but if you do want to change it, I suggest using a lighter color. For color B, let's open that up. It's a nice blue color. Instead of blue, I think I want to actually go with orange. That's a little more consistent with my branding. So I'm going to hit Control Y or Command Y if you're on a Mac. And let's just choose a nice orange color. Maybe something like that. And I'll hit OK. And now this orange will be applied throughout my project. For color C, it's a gray, and for now I'm just going to leave it as this gray as well. So let's open up the drop logo here composition. So at this point you want to go ahead and import your logos. Now I have my logos imported. I'll go ahead and disable this text here, and let's drag on my Illustrator logo. If you have a vector logo, that tends to be the best to work with, but if you only have an image of your logo, that works as well. Just try and make sure that it is a PNG with an alpha or transparency in the back. So I'm going to hit S for scale, and let's just scale this Illustrator file up. And it is a little fuzzy around the edges, so I just want to hit this continuously rasterize switch here. And now it is nice and sharp once more. So the last thing I want to do in the Edit These First folder is select my Drop Logo Icon Only composition, and let's open that up. And I will disable this text. And what you would want to do in this composition is drop in your logo. And you don't want text in this composition, you only want the icon itself. So there's a few ways you can do that. If you have an Illustrator file, you can open up Illustrator and delete all your characters, or you can right click your Illustrator or EPS or whatever vector file you have and go to Create Shapes from Vector Layer. And there you can delete all your characters one by one. But that process would take too long for me. So what I'm going to do instead is just hit Q, and you can hit Q and cycle through until you see your rectangle masking tool appear. So I'll cycle through until I see it, and I just want to draw a rectangle around my icon like that, cutting out the text. Then over here I want to select the title action safe, and that'll give me the center point. So I can scale up, toggling continuously rasterize once more. And I can make sure that my logo is center. So the next thing I want to do is choose whether I'm working in 4K or 1080. I'm going to be working in 1080, so let's toggle down that folder. And let's open up the Export These folder. Here you can see all the different elements we're working with. So I want to open up the background first and check it out. And we can see that it does have that orange color that we selected earlier. Again, we can go in and change the colors to whatever color we would like. So the next thing I want to do is check my bug, and let's just preview that back. Now I like this bug, but it is using the secondary color, and I don't really like that color with my logo on top. I kind of lose the logo in it. So what I could do is open up this logo bug composition here by double clicking. And we know that it is using color B here. So what I can do is, let's go ahead and find a color I would want to replace it with. Maybe color A. I can select my color A composition within my project window, hold Alt, click and drag, and now I'm replacing color B with color A. If I jump back into my bug, we will see that now it is white, which is the color that we might actually want back there. If you want a new color, you can create a new composition by selecting one of these color compositions within our project window. I'm going to hit Control D to duplicate it. And for consistency, I'm just going to name this color D. I'm going to open up color D, and let's just create a new color. I'm going to hit Control Y, and maybe let's make it, just for example, a purple. I'm going to hit OK. And now let's jump back into my bug. And let's say I want purple instead of that white. I can go into my logo bug. select this color A composition that we replaced before. Select the new color D, which is the purple, hold Alt, select the color D and drag it onto color A, and it swaps it to that color. Let's jump back into my bug. Okay, so I like that purple, but now I actually don't like how the logo looks. I want the logo to be entirely white. What I can do is jump back into my drop logo icon here, only composition. So I'm going to double click that composition, select my logo, and let's just drag on a fill. And I want to change this color from red to white, hit OK. Now I jump back into my bug composition, and now my icon is white on top of a purple background. Let's just look at that. That actually looks pretty slick. So I like this look. I'm going to continue with that for the rest of the project. So I just looked at bug. Now let's look at logo animation. Okay, for my logo animation, let's say I want to actually leave this background as white, but change my logo to purple. I'll select my drop logo here composition, and let's go up to the effects controls, and I'll drag on that fill one more time, and let's just change it to that purple. I actually want to make sure I use the same purple I was using before. I think that was color D. And let's just hit Control Y, and I'll select my eyedropper and select that purple. And now I'll click that purple. And I just want to copy this hex key here. So I'm going to select it and hit Control C, and I can hit cancel. And now I have that hex code copied. Let's go back to our logo animation and select my drop logo here, effects controls, find that fill effect, select this color, and I can just paste that hex key, and it changes it to that same purple. So that looks pretty awesome. So the last thing I want to do here is change this orange to the purple. I changed my mind. I'm not going to be working with the orange. I like this purple, gray, and white combination. So I think, what is that, color B? Yep, color B. So let's find my project window, find my color D, which is the purple composition. And again, I'm going to select my color D, hold Alt, click and drag, and I'm replacing color B with color D. And now I have this cool purple logo animation. And now let's open up the lower third. So this lower third looks pretty good to me. What I'm going to do now, just to save time, is I think it was color B that's orange. I'm not actually using this orange anywhere else in the project, so I'm going to just open that up, hit Control Y, and I actually want to use this purple that I changed my mind to. So I'm going to hit Control V, hit OK, and now I have this purple. Now if I open up my lower third, you'll see that it is using that purple again. And I want to just change the subtitle text. I want to change this color to this purple, so I'll select the eyedropper, or I can just Control paste the hex code, hit OK, and now my subtitle matches the purple that I'm using everywhere else. So instead of the Arial font that I'm using, let's use a Gotham, maybe Gotham rounded. Let's use the book. That looks pretty cool. And I'll just type in my name here. And my subtitle, I also want to change that to my Gotham rounded font. Maybe make it a bold instead. And let's check that out. Cool. Yep, I like that lower third. That is all set. Now let's just look at the slate. I like that. The only thing I want to change here is my font once more. So I will double click the Check Us Out font, and I will change it to my Gotham rounded. Maybe make it a medium here. Now if you want to dive into the project a little bit deeper, I do have the shy switch enabled. If I go ahead and disable that, you'll see all the different compositions and layers that we're using. So just keep that in mind in case you really want to customize it a lot more than I'm showing you how to do right now. I'm going to go ahead and re-enable that shy switch. And let's check out my transitions. And I like that transition. Let's confirm the transition 2 is good to go. Great, so I like my transition 2 as well. I like all my elements. These are all set to export. I can select all of my compositions in my export these folder, go up to File, Export, and I can either select the media encoder queue or my render queue. I'll just select my render queue. Down here by the lossless setting, I just want to hit that arrow and select the custom. So if you're exporting to edit within Premiere or Final Cut or another editor, you want to export with an alpha channel. There's only a few different codecs that can handle alpha. I usually use the PNG codec with the QuickTime format. So over by format, I'm going to find the QuickTime, and format options, I want to select my PNG. Where is that? Right there. I'm gonna hit OK. I don't need any audio, so I'm gonna turn that off. And by channels, this is really important. I don't want to leave it as RGB. I want to select the RGBA. I'm gonna hit OK. Now it did not change the render setting for all of my renders, just this one here where it says custom QuickTime. So I want to select this drop down arrow here, select the make template, and I just want to call this something like QuickTime with alpha, hit OK. And now that is applied to all of my exports, then the last thing to do would be to select where you want to output it to and hit render, and you are all set. If you have any questions, feel free to email us, support@productioncrate.com, or you can find us on Facebook or leave a comment on YouTube or the website itself. I hope you enjoyed. We have a few other different brand packages on the site, so make sure to check those out.